So when it comes to yesterday's practice question that I have given, so one such practice question is, so I may be the different from the numbering that I have given yesterday, triangle question. Yeah. So when it comes to triangle, when it comes in the logical part, the area of a triangle is, we are aware of, half into base into height as a mathematical formula. But the same thing, how do we write in terms of Java code? That's what the main important point. So for this question, let me take one class. So first, independent body, which we are aware of. So what is the first class? Public, then class, then followed by a meaningful class name, triangle, as an independent class I am taking. Open and close curly braces. Then inside this class body, so we have to define a method. So here I am defining a method, say public void. Again, say area is a meaningful name that we can give. And for area of a triangle, and because of its formula, how many inputs are required? 2 inputs are required. So assume that both of them are can be integers or can be float, but which supports both? Float supports both. That's why float, B for base, then comma, one more float, H for height, because in formula there are 2 variables are there. Then the method body, open and close curly brace. So then inside this method body, we have to perform the area logic. So here I am using the, since both are float, the result will be float type only. Then, so normally what do we type? 1 by 2, then asterisk, then B, asterisk, H, correct? And will return the area from this. Since return type is a data, sorry, it has to be void. I can make it, we have to make it as float actually. Then now return AR. Then this is what normally we write it. And when we don't practice this question, or when we don't understand, normally when we see a question directly like this in interview, we'll write our code like this, correct? There is a reason behind this one. And if you give the values to this B and H, and if you execute this method by calling the method from main method with object creation process and all, we are always going to get the output as 0, if you notice. Am I correct? If any of you are writing like this the code, did you get the output as 0 or not? Even though if you are giving base value some 10, height value some 20, but still we are going to get the output as 0 only. Okay. Yeah. So for this, the reason is, when it comes to Java, so the division, when it comes to Java division, so we'll be using a one of its operator called as a division operator, slash we are using. So it's called as forward slash. This is called as a forward slash. Yeah. So what is the output of this when we are using a forward slash is, in our scenario or in some scenarios, let me take some example. So in this example, so if you write 10/2, so in Java, what's result we are going to get? 5 is the answer. It means we are dividing 10 with 2, 5 is the answer. But at the same time, if you are using one more expression of, say for example, 2 by 10, 2/10. In this scenario, so like in the previous part, we got the output as, what's the output we got? 5. But in the second scenario, if we are using this expression, then we are going to get the output as 0. What is the reason? In this, the process which is happening is, if numerator is greater than denominator, then normal division will happen, and that's why we are going to get the division result as output. But in second scenario, what is the case? Is numerator is bigger or denominator is bigger? Yeah, so yeah, denominator is bigger. It means if numerator is less than denominator, then in that scenario, the division will take a result as 0 only. Now the same point, if I apply the same logic to this formula, so 1 by 2, numerator is smaller than denominator or bigger than denominator? Numerator is smaller or denominator is bigger. So in that scenario, what is the result of it according to Java language? It's going to be 0. Because of this reason, whatever the value that we are giving for this base and height, indirectly we are multiplying with what? 0 only. 0 into something we are doing. Therefore, we are going to get always 0. That's one thing. Then how do we correct this? So being a programmer, after practicing, then okay, there is something is happening. Then I want to rectify this error. Because if we give some value for base and height, we have to get some output as number, not as 0. Then how do we rectify? In how many ways we can rectify this? So for that, yeah, this, yeah, the same line of code. If we use it, I'll comment it later. So if I use the same line, one correction from the above line is, in place of this 1 by 2, we can write 0.5. Yeah, 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5, right? So 0.5 is what type of value it is? It's a float value. So when it comes to float data type, the float values must end with f. That's one more syntax error which we probably make. This f has to be there when you're writing a 0.5 approach. This is one correction. What's one more correction? So from the above line only, we can also correct the one more way. That is, instead of writing 1 by 2 into b into h, can we write b into h by 2? Yes or no? This also same, right? Correct. So this is also one more correction. But the thing is, when we give a float values to get accurate result, this will not give the accurate result. This approach will not give the accurate result. We are going to get some values output, but not accuracy. This will give the most accurate value. This is syntax error. So then let me comment this. These are the two approaches. We can use this one or the other one. So again, I'm using or for comment. Then the other one also we can use it. Then followed by return. So am I clear with this, or do you have any questions? Guys, please tell me. So this is one correction. So for this reason, for you to realize this reason, I gave you this practice question. You use third one, you mean this one? B into h by 2. That's what you're saying, Parvati. But like I said, so there is accuracy will miss. Accuracy will miss if you use the second, this top. If you mean this is third approach, then this will not give the accurate results. This is will give more accurate result. Okay. Then can we correct first one? To avoid the error, can we correct first one? Yes, we can also correct the first one by making 1 by 2 f instead of 1 by 2. Instead of 1 by 2, if you make 1 by 2 f, that also will give you the answer. Understood? Yeah, so remember this one point. So it is not only applicable for this question. Whenever division is happening, it may be at the start or it may be at the last as per the formulas. Sometimes like average, a plus b plus c by 3, the division is at the last. And in this triangle, 1 by 2, it is at the starting. In all such scenarios, the simple correction, make the denominator with f. Otherwise, write the division last. By 3, by 100, by 10, by 2, all those things must be end like this at the end. That's how we can correct the errors. Am I clear? Yeah. So then one more question I gave, like to print the percentage. To print the percentage of any three subjects. So again, the execution and all shall be right. Okay, so let me complete that also. So to execute this program, what should we do? So from the same package, we can take one more dependent class, that is public class some test is my class name, and inside this class body, what we have to do? Select the main method. So how do we write the main method syntax? Public static void main. So public static void main method, and here s capital string, then args, then the main method body. And inside this main method, so what we should have? We should have the object creation logic, correct? So here, how do we create the, how do we access other class data? By creating the object. So then object syntax says class name, object reference of programmer choice, then new keyword, again class name, then parenthesis and semicolon. So this is the object creation. Then how do you call the method? We can call the method by using object reference dot method signature, that is area, and which is expecting two float values. So can we give something like 2.5, then f comma 3.5 f. Two float values I'm passing as a inputs to the method. Am I correct? Me Method name and this, what type of value we have to pass? Float value. So I'm passing a 1/4 float value. Then second value also float. Then here also I'm passing one more float value. So this is what is called as method calling. Then how do we store the result of the method? So return type of method is nothing but float. Therefore use the float data type. Then some variable of programmer choice res for result. Then followed by in next line, to see the output, we have to print it by using a system.out.println. So open parenthesis, what is the variable name? Result, then semicolon. If you are appearing for any online interviews, for any company interviews, you are expected to type the code like this with a proper indentation. Indentation means proper spacing and all. Then proper opening and closing, proper uppercase and lowercase letters, proper class names rules we have to follow. First letter should be capital for classes and all those things. You're expected to follow this. Yeah, because sometimes interviews will happen online. Okay, then you're expected to type the code and with proper indentation, spacing, and all those things. Clear? Then shall we discuss about percentage question, or you got it? Shall we discuss about percentage question, or you understood and you got it? Got it. Okay. Online? Please respond. Are you there? Give proper formula. Proper formula, percentage formula. You might have calculated many times from your school onwards. How much you got, how much your friend got, how much your percentage, how much your friend's percentage. Okay, so let me discuss how do we write the Java for code for this one, so that the same formula also will be percentage of three subjects, right? So this is the question that we had. So here, let me discuss the same thing. So only I'll be writing the class and method. So first, let me take a class. So public class some subject is my class name. Don't take subjects. Class name can't be plural. It's not a professional way. Then inside this class, let's go for defining a method. So for finding the percentage, how many inputs are required for three subjects? Three inputs are required. Generally, scoring will be what? Integer or float. When you get some marks out of 100, you'll get 60.5 or 60.3 like that. or you'll get 60, 61, 62. Yeah, most of the scenarios it's integer. Otherwise, it can be float also. So based on that, but what can be the percentage result? Float, correct? With that understanding, inputs are integers, return type is a float. So then let me go for float is return type. Then percentage in lower cases is the proper method name for this. Then since marks are integers, int m for math, then int p for physics, then int c for chemistry as per our question. Then the body. Inside this method body, what we can have? The logic for this, correct? Method logic. How do you define? Return type is float, therefore float is a result type also. Then say p for percentage. Okay, already p is there as a variable of this parameter. Don't use p again, change something. PER for percentage. Then what's formula? What is normal mathematic formula? Sum of subjects by, yeah, sum of the marks obtained for each subject by total number of marks out of all three subjects, then into 100. So in this scenario, again, so if you write like this, that is P plus P, yeah, so M is first variable, M plus P plus C. So this is the sum of the marks that we got as a student. Then out of how much? Each subject is for 100. Then 3 divided by 300. But if you write divide by 300 here, then the same formula, same problem of triangle, area of triangle will come. What is that? Do we get more than 300? No. Then numerator will be smaller, denominator will be bigger. How do you avoid that? Make it as F. Correct? This is one correction. Then followed by, for this entire thing, we have to multiply. That's why asterisk 100 is one approach which gives a result of this percentage. Then since return type is a value type, use return statement PER. Done. So this is the logic for this. So to avoid this problem or to get more accuracy, even though we know that the marks will be of integer type, but you can make them as float because float can accept both integers and also decimal values. That is also one more way to correct it and to get the accurate results. Am I clear with this? Same thing again while executing. From main method, we have to create the object for the class. And by using object reference with method signature, call the method by giving 3 integer inputs, then catch the result and print the result. That's the output for this. Is it understood? Or any questions or anything to be repeated? Yeah. Then with this practice, let me go for the some more concept on this method calling and seeing the result of the method. So for that, I am using one of our previous program, that is the triangle program. Yeah. So in this program, so where we are printing the result, we are printing the result. Printing the result means whenever there is a print statement, then only we are printing the result, correct? Yeah. So in this scenario, if you print the result here, then we are seeing the output of this from the main method. Now the point is, can we also use this print function inside this area method also? Can we use or we cannot use to see the output? Yeah, the answer is yes, we can use the print function inside a method. During the initial classes, I mentioned this point where it is allowed to write the print function syntax or print statement syntax inside a method. I said, I did not say inside a main method, but at that point of time, we know only main method. So that's why we used in main method. But now here we understood the other types of methods also that a programmer can declare. Now, can we use the print function here inside this area method body? Yes or no? The answer is yes. We can use inside any method. It is allowed. So for that, so here I am trying to use the print function syntax, that is system dot out dot println, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, semicolon. So this is the print syntax, correct? So in this method, in which variable our area result is there? In which variable our area result is there? AR. Then can I use AR here? Sorry? No, we are using a variable to print it. That's all. Previous concept will be clear. It has to be there when you are discussing something new. Don't, no confusions, please. So here to print something inside a print function, we need to use the variable or value. So here, what is the variable in which AR result is there? AR. In all these scenarios, any one we are going to use it. Just for showing, I'm writing all three, but only one we can is allowed here because same variable name can't be used multiple times. Correct? So here, if I'm using AR, then is it correct or not? Will it give? This will also will give the output or not? Along with this print statement. This print statement will give the output. Along with this also will give output or not? Yeah, that's a point. So here this will give the output, but the positioning of or the placement of this line of code is incorrect because in method body, when we have a return statement with return keyword, then nothing is allowed to write after the return statement. This is syntax error because we are writing a line of code after return statement. That's not never supported, never possible. That's why the proper position for that print statement is, so here we can write it. This is the allowed statement here. Before return statement, from the method body also, we can print the result of the area. So now if you want to print from here, you can avoid this line. Or if you want to print from here, we can avoid this line. Or if you want to see both times, then still we can use the both of the statements. But this is wrong. Is this extra point is clear or any confusion with this? So why I am discussing the possibilities I am discussing. Yeah, so there's a next concept is connected to this. That's why. So here I'm discussing this part. Is it clear or any challenge in this? Please respond. Yeah. Two possibilities I'm saying. Two possibilities. We can print from the main method or we can print from the declared method. That's what my simplest conclusion is. From anywhere it's possible. Two options are there. Yeah. Then for your awareness, can we write these two lines into one single line? Yes, we can write it. What is this RES is representing? RES is representing T dot area of 2.5, 3.5 F. Then can we replace that RES with this right hand side value? Yes, it is also possible. So that's why here I'm using one R. Okay, this is for our understanding. Or we can write the same two lines of code in one line only. That is system.out.println. So in place of this, what we can write it? T dot area parenthesis my first value some 50, since it is integer no need of using f. My second value say 100. Correct or not? Yes, we can. Okay, so what if you're having a doubt of here I'm using different and here I'm using different? No. Float, but still we can give the integer values for float. No, it's when it is integer, no need to use f. So this is the possibility. Yeah. So instead of these two lines, we can write this one line of code also will give the same result only. Yeah, this is what we discussed, the extra things for the day. Yeah, so if I just discuss, then still you may have some doubts. Then let me go for the execution of the same thing with the help of Eclipse. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or if you want to ask anything, then please. So there is one more point to be given to you, but that I'll use for the introduction of my next topic. Here, for some reason only, we can use like this. There is a reason for this. And all our examples are discussed based on such type only. Yeah,
Hello, sir. Rashant here.
please tell me.
Hello.
I can hear you. Please tell me.
Yeah, sir. Actually, you told three. Yes, sir. In 300F, you told no, sir, like to give the precise value. What if we catch? Is it possible to give like int percentage? Uh, then 300F.
Return type
We
is
can't
integer.
give that one, no, sir.
Return type is integer. Or here is in,
Return type is integer. Yes.
or
Yes, sir.
here also integer, right?
Here also integer and return type also integer. If you give like that and if you give 300F, means it will not come,
It
no,
will
sir.
not work
Or it
because
will come.
it will not work because integer has no capacity to hold float values.
Okay, so it is best to write F where and all the values are coming,
Yeah, so if you are catching
like
variable
100F.
type is float, then we should go for F here
Mhm.
is allowed. But if this is integer,
100F also is okay now.
100F also okay. Here also you can write
Mhm.
100F.
Okay,
But
yes, got it.
to avoid all such problems, then the recommended way to type the same logic is, so it can be anything. Now you can replace float with integer also. This will work. Float the percentage, some variable name equals. So first I'll use m plus p plus c. Then first thing what we should do? Multiply. Then next thing what we should do? Divide. Then we are making sure that numerator is always bigger than the denominator. This is the actual way of typing it. So in this scenario, f is also not required. Even though you are using integers all, or even though you're using float all, still we are going to get the output. But more accuracy will comes with decimal. And here is a some adjusted value of the percentage we are going to get if it is integer type or if it is this approach.
Okay, so got it.
Yeah, I
So
hope.
can we limit decimal value also, sir, like one decimal, two decimal?
No,
Can we do that?
we can't limit it because during decimal float data type we discussed, float can store up to 17, but in the precision 5 to 7.
Yes, yes.
So that internally it will take by default. And if you want some limited number of float values, then we have to import some math library and all. So that is unnecessary at this point of time.
Okay, so got it. Thanks.
Yeah. So please rejoin the meet using the same link. Then we'll execute the discussed points through Eclipse.